Traditional Territory, Treaty 8. Are there any proposed additions to the agenda? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to adopt the agenda. Councillor Temple, any comments? None. All those in favor? Carried. We have scheduled delegations. Our scheduled delegation is Amber Bell. Bell, please come to the mic. Now, to be heard, Ms. Bell, you have to turn on your mic. See, there's a red, right? Now you're live. Okay. So remember, everything here is videoed, and you can watch it tomorrow on Netflix. Okay.
Good evening.
Please go ahead and introduce yourself and go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here tonight. For those who don't know me, I'm Amber Field. I'm a registered social worker, and I grew up here in High Prairie. This community shaped who I am, and that is why I'm standing before you tonight. I'm here to advocate for a practical, compassionate, and evidence-based solution to a challenge our town is already facing, which is homelessness. Specifically, I'm asking the council to take the next step towards seeking government funding to repurpose the old Friendship Center, the old Youth Assessment Center, known to many as the YAC, into a 24/7 homeless shelter with integrated support services. Homelessness is no longer a distant or abstract issue in our community. It is visible in our streets, our businesses, our emergency services, and our conversations out in the community. We are seeing more individuals experiencing homelessness in High Prairie, including individuals brought here from surrounding areas. Without adequate shelter and supports, people are left with nowhere to go, except our streets, parks, hospitals, and holding cells. This really affects everyone, especially during the winter season. We see this impact through increased property damage, theft, public intoxication, pressure on emergency and medical staff, along with growing concerns about community safety. Many of these calls and incidents are not driven by criminal intent, but by survival. People trying to stay warm, manage withdrawal, or find a safe place to exist. When those basic needs are unmet, the burden shifts into our systems that were never designed to function as shelters. These are not moral failings, it's just a predictable outcome of unmet basic needs. The question before us is not whether homelessness exists in High Prairie. The question is whether we respond reactively or proactively. The former Youth Assessment Center, I think, is best suited to meet this need because as my first practicum there, I know the building quite well. There's already existing bedrooms with on-site showers and washrooms. There's fully equipped kitchen and private confidential counseling rooms. Very few buildings offer this level of readiness, and because this infrastructure already exists, this proposal is not about major new construction, it's about making a strategic use of a community asset we already own, while seeking senior government funding to support operations, staffing, and programming. Repurposing the YAC would allow High Prairie to move quickly, cost-effectively, and responsibly without starting from scratch. More importantly, it would allow us to provide shelter in a way that is dignified, trauma-informed, and focused on stabilization. A 24/7 homeless shelter is not simply a place for people to sleep. When done properly, it is a hub for case management, house navigation, mental health and addiction support, connections to income assistance, healthcare, and employment resources. Research consistently shows that a stable shelter reduces crime, emergency service use, and improves overall community safety. Communities that invest in shelter support services that see fewer emergency calls, fewer interactions with law enforcement, and better outcomes for individuals who might otherwise cycle through crisis. Simply put, when people have somewhere safe to go, the entire community benefits. I also want to emphasize the importance on collaboration. Since High Prairie does not exist in isolation, this is an opportunity for, if we're approached respectively, to engage surrounding Indigenous communities as partners in this initiative. Any involvement must be voluntary, culturally safe, and grounded in shared responsibility, with Indigenous leadership involved from the very beginning. This approach reflects both best practices and the values many of us hold as Northern Alberta community. Tonight, I'm not asking the council to approve construction. I'm just asking the council to move forward with the first critical step, which is to formally explore and pursue senior government funding opportunities to repurpose the YAC into a 24/7 homeless shelter with integrated supports. This includes initiating conversations, gathering data, and determining what resources are available to us beyond the municipal tax rate. High Prairie has a choice. We can continue responding to homelessness through emergency calls and law enforcement, or we can lead with foresight, compassion, and evidence through crisis. Both as a professional and as someone who grew up here and cares deeply about this community, I believe this community is capable of leadership that balances safety, fiscal responsibility, and empathy. I am committed to supporting this process in any way that I can, and thank you for your time, your service to this community, and your willingness to consider a solution that addresses the root of the issue rather than the symptoms. And I welcome any questions.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Bell. This is the first meeting of council in 2026, and it started with an excellent presentation on a very important topic. Thank you very much. Now I want to ask each of the councillors if they have any questions or comments to make. If we could perhaps start with Councillor Hanlon.
There. So one of the questions that came to my mind when you were speaking was, have you been in touch with the province about this building to see if it is useful?
I have not. I thought that the best step was to approach, since I have a newly graduate, people that are in more of a position to reach out to the province. I have reached out to a couple members of our community already. I have not heard back from any of them, unfortunately, but I'm hoping to work collaboratively with all of you to hopefully reach out to the province and find a solution to this.
Yes, again, thank you for the presentation. Likewise, I'm very impressed with the presentation. I think it's something that we have to look at. But again, my concern is regarding the shape of the building, because there was a fire in there and that. And then I've also heard situations where there was also asbestos involved in the building and other issues, which would then really put a damper on the situation. But it's something that can be checked out. When you mentioned other communities that support homeless shelters, what communities are you speaking of? Like size, I'm not going to talk about Edmonton, Calgary.
Oh, of course. I'm not talking city-based.
Yeah.
Of course, that's what you hear about research-wise.
Yeah.
But I have looked into more communities like Peace River, our surrounding Indigenous communities, Gift Lake, Jussard. I've even looked as far as Valley View and maybe even Grand Prairie, as we are expanding. And I can see that from recent years as I've just come back.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see High Prairie thrive to its full potential. And I have noticed that a lot of the surrounding communities are dropping their homeless individuals off here. Because High Prairie is a hub for a lot of surrounding communities, I do want these individuals to find High Prairie a safe place where they can find those resources.
Okay, but then going back, you mentioned the other communities that are surrounding us. Do they have homeless centers that they're contributing to or running there?
Peace River does have a homeless shelter, but I believe it's only an overnight shelter. It's not a 24/7 shelter, which kind of puts the homeless individuals at risk because they're not able to get those resources that they need around the clock until they are in a stable situation. It's just kind of, you go there overnight, you sleep, you get your resources, you're out in the morning, and then they have nowhere to go.
Okay, thanks for your advice.
Councillor Briskin.
The only concern I've got is the shape of the building. So we have to check into that first, go from there.
I completely understand that. And I have heard around the community the shape that the building is in. And that's also another reason why I want to reach out to government funding, because I do realize that it is a government building and that would be the government's responsibility, not the municipal responsibility.
Councillor Temple. Amber, would this be something that we could coordinate with the media center?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I was gonna ask the same question we did, but, on my to-do list, I've still been meaning to go and visit the Meta Center, really understand what it is they do, but my understanding is they have an overnight shelter, very similar to how you described Peace River shelter, right? So we do have a sort of a homeless shelter in town, it's just not a shelter, it's an overnight shelter. And then to, Councillor Persky's point, my understanding is that, given the year of the building, it's full of asbestos, and to rehab after the fire, you have to, remove the asbestos. It's gonna be $1 million project, I would guess. It's not a small ask, is what you're after.
I completely understand that. It's, as someone who has seen that we do have mental health resources, we do have the Meta Center, we do have the Friendship Center, but all of them only do specific things. I know I'm asking for a big thing by asking that the former youth assessment center become a shelter where we have mental health and counseling, where there isn't really no 6-month wait list, where people are stuck in a crisis for they don't know how long. And they can get resources for proper housing and proper financial support, job support even. I know it's a big ask, especially the condition of the building. But I'm hoping that I can work with all of you and possibly senior government funding to establish this project.
One more question while you're here. I think you know better than we do. Why does High Prairie have to be the hub? Why can't we work with someone like the Mustard Seed Grand Prairie and provide a shuttle service for our homeless and let Grand Prairie be the hub?
I do believe that because we have so many surrounding communities around High Prairie within a 30-minute distance, all these surrounding communities drop everyone off here. They're not gonna travel 2 kilometers to 2 hours to Grand Prairie. That's also asking, it's a lot of them hitchhike. It's very hard, especially in the winter time with road conditions. All of them are kind of stuck. And a lot of times this is people's homes. They have families here that don't take them in. They've been raised here their whole life. And I do not want to take that away from them. I do want to have an empathetic approach instead of just sending them off to some city or somewhere where they're not familiar with, where they don't know the people, and they have to build that trusting relationship all over again.
Can I interject here a little bit?
I would, okay.
I just wanted to give you a little background. With the previous council last year, they did advocate to the one of the Minister of Social Services, and did get a response, and we did put it in correspondence, and they can certainly provide you with that. I wouldn't mind having a copy of what you read from also, if I could do that, and if council is willing, we can always advocate again and approach the ministry yet again. But the $1 million to bring the building back to code, and the multi-million-dollar, however it's going to cost to make it livable in there, that we would have to be looking to the province to provide that funding, just so that you're aware.
So another point to the using the ash is it is also set up as a lockdown. To be locked down. So when the government has been talking about involuntary drug rehabilitation, why can't that building be used for that? They're gonna do it, if they were planning on doing this anyways, then why start from scratch? It's gotta be cheaper to fix the building than it would be to build a new one. And, every one of those rooms can be locked. The building can be locked. It's a gated yard. So I think that's another, use for it is, appropriate, we have.
It is a key card facility.
Pardon?
I was gonna say, she is right, it is a key card facility, or it was. And I do understand that, the economy has not been doing well, the last few years. I know everybody's struggling, and I'm just, I keep saying, I'm hoping that the government can step in and help our community. Since this has been, from what I hear from other community members, this has been an ongoing issue. And I just want to see High Prairie thrive to its full potential. I can definitely email you all what I've said tonight. I do apologize, my printer is not working properly.
Email's good.
So I absolutely don't mind leaving my contact information and getting all your emails so I can provide you what I said tonight.
Well, thank you very much. I'd just like to make some comments and questions. One of the other councilors already asked if this could be coordinated with MITA. Have you done any coordination with MITA on the subject of homelessness?
No, I have not. I just arrived here last February. I just graduated in September with my BSW. This is my first time doing anything community-wise on my own. I'm hoping to have all of your support, especially as a new graduate. I know I have very high ambitions. But I know High Prairie to be a very friendly and a very helping community. And I hope to see that tonight as well.
I think it's important, and it's all been referred to, but in fact, we don't have any real knowledge of the condition of the building. We hear about various conditions and various extent of the fire damage and the asbestos abatement and things like that. But in fact, there's no evidence for any of it because we're not ever been given any kind of inspection. So certainly that would be the first one. It is an older building. It's about 50 some years old. And so that has to be taken into account. The closing of the Youth Assessment Center was an important blow against this community. And I think everybody in council, certainly the previous council felt it, and everybody on this council feels it. There's nothing in your presentation that we have any objection to. But you have to appreciate that we're not funded at the level that building probably requires repairs, nor are we funded at the level that building requires in terms of programming and staff. And so we would have to join with you in an approach to the appropriate department of the provincial government. We are going to be meeting with various ministers in a few months. One has already alerted us that we have a 10-minute slot with him, and that we have, they're asking right off the top for one of the three questions that we'll be asking. And I think that the future of the Youth Assessment Center will probably be one of those three questions. I don't think we'll be in a position then to propose either a solution like yours or a solution like yours or any other solution. But it's very important to the town that we get the Youth Assessment Center going back up as a provincial program. There were about a dozen very good jobs, the kind of jobs that you can get mortgages on. And so it's had a long-term effect on the economy of this town and the humanity of this town. So there's actually nothing in your presentation that anybody at this table would argue with. It's just that the road ahead is so daunting. We will start something, but it's very difficult to predict where it's going to go. And who knows, the provincial government may simply opt to knock her down. You know,
I have thought about that, and I do agree with you, it is a possibility that that might be what the government decides. And I do realize the hit this community has taken since the closure of the Youth Assessment Center. I'm hoping, since it is a provincial government building, that it will supply jobs, it will supply resources to this community, and hopefully the government will fund that. I'm not asking anyone to take money out of this community to fund that. I do realize that it's a very expensive.
I need to ask you, are you an employee of the provincial government?
I work at the University of Calgary right now, remotely. I am doing research with youth right now, in the Pan-Africa region. So, my passion has always been mental health, youth, adults. I have taken extensive education in psychology and addictions, and I'm really hoping that I can give back to this community who pushed me to go for that. Because this community really shaped who I was, and I just really want to give back.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you for starting in 2026 on an important topic. Thank you very much. Moving on then, there are no other public delegations that I can see. Moving on then to item number 3, our fire chief's report.
Good evening. Happy New Year. The report's there. Not a whole pile has changed. We're doing the school demonstration at this time. This week is all full of school tours. It's fun. Loud, but it's fun. So, but yeah, other than that, the report's there. Pretty much broken down what I gotta say. If you have any questions, by all means.
You don't want to hit the highlights for us?
Highlight? 2025 is done. Hoping the budget is all done, or my part of it anyway. Upcoming events, this is probably one of our bigger events that we got. We're doing our hockey, first responders hockey game. I think it'll be the 3rd or 4th year we've done this. We got other first responders from other agencies, RCMP, Smoky River Fire, Slave Lake Fire. We have Lakeshore, EMS, and Fish and Wildlife also. Have been invited. We're still waiting on responses for it. That's this Friday at Sports Palace, 7 o'clock. Inspections are still going along. Late December, we finalized the occupancy loads for a couple buildings in town, which they needed to get that done to get sales and stuff done. So good to get those done and out of the way. That's pretty much it. Food bank. We did a big food drive. It was cold. And I think it was like 27 below. It was really cold. But props to the town. They stepped up. They delivered. Refilled fire trucks. I had the specs, but I don't have them with me. I think it was like something like 800 some pounds from wholesale. And something else. I can't remember. It was close. They were real close to each other. But yeah, we filled 2 fire trucks and we delivered them to the food bank. So it was good. Especially in minus 40 or 30.
I'll ask all the councilors who can turn to. If they have any comments, and starting with Councilor Briscoe.
Dave, in our tours of snow plowing, we're noticing that a lot of back doors are snowed in.
Yeah.
So maybe you've done this already. If you
Yes, yes, I did receive those and a few pictures. So I reached out to those businesses. Some of them, they're not deemed as an exit because of the type of occupancy that they are. Other businesses, yes, they do have to keep them, and they were just blind to it. They didn't know. Same with the hydrants. We spent one Monday digging out fire hydrants. I think we dug out 40 fire hydrants. You couldn't see them. They're just a little bump in the snow.
We have to do
And
something.
then the local snow removal contractors, they're helping us. They're clearing them out even more, which is good. The town crew's busy. I think everybody knows that. So we just tried doing our part to help them out.
Counselor Temple? No questions for me. Counselor Fletcher?
Nothing from me.
Counselor Hanlon? Counselor Mullin?
Just one quick question with the fire hydrants regarding to the snow, and I do realize, I see you too, but where to go? Some of the other communities have been at, I don't know if they've had long, rebar, whatever, flying up top, 4 feet up on the hydrant or something like that. Have we ever done that we have here, or?
I don't remember. I think that we had a couple that were like that, maybe along more so with the highways where highways, they don't care. They bury them in, they just struck through, but, I haven't really considered this. I think it's 12 years ago we had this much snow. So it's a rare occurrence.
I just thought I'd ask the question, like I said, I've seen them in other places, and I've been on a fire department myself, several fire departments before.
Yeah.
There's a lot of what that does help when you're trying to find it when you're building a fire. Building how you want to go looking for it.
So we do have pretty up to date maps. We have a few different sources that we use.
Okay.
And they're pretty accurate, like within 5 feet, so.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Beard, are you going to ask the young gentleman any questions?
What's your membership up to now?
I think we're up to, it's 17 full-time. Some are hesitant on work commitments are just too high right at this time, but we're holding on to them, trying to persuade them the other way. But we do have one new firefighter and one new junior firefighter start. And the best part is they have never been on air, and they did our fitness test. Pretty much the first practice at the hall, and they passed it. So that was pretty exciting.
Excellent. I commend you for the community work and things like food bank. Did you ever get an answer to the question embedded in your report?
No, that was just a suggestion.
Well, if you have a question, I assume you're hoping for an answer. And the question being, does the town want to donate the ice time for recognition of first responders? Who have you asked that question of?
To you guys by the report. That's the only ones I've had.
So you haven't gotten a no from anyone before?
I haven't got a no.
So we don't have to override anyone.
I don't know the process yet. I haven't figured it out. I don't know if they're gonna.
Well, you might want to get some advice from people you know.
I'll work on it. Yeah. No, and again, it's not a dire thing for that. Our society, by all means, we've done it in the past, so it was just a suggestion. I got laughed at when I threw it out there by the previous chief. Like, that was pretty smooth of you.
Okay, any other questions or comments for the fire chief? Good start to 2026.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And it's really great to hear that you're getting new members.
Yeah.
That's so critical.
Yeah, we had a few people come in and pick up applications, which was, that's a first. We've had a few older members reach back out. They haven't filled the application out or sent it in, so I'm not counting them yet. So, but I'm really hoping they come back. So they're a solid asset. So awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On now to item number 5, page 7. Approval of the minutes.
Your worship, do we need to get a motion there to accept this report for information?
Okay, if you want to have one.
I'll make that motion.
Well, no, then I'd rather not have. Because a motion for information just throws it in the dumpster and doesn't address the question. Now, you can either address the question and say yes or no to the ice time. And the best way to say no is to have a motion for information because it goes into the circular bin. They say it's a filing cabinet, but it doesn't work either way. Now, if you want to make a motion on that question, Councilor Temple,
I make a motion on that question of us donating ice time for recognition for the first responders.
please formulate a motion.
That's the hard part.
That's our.
So
I would like to make a
The intention
motion
is
that
to
we
support-
donate the ice time for the first responders hockey.
excellently worded motion. Any questions or comments on it?
Do we have a dollar value on what that's worth? If we only have a limited amount, we usually have to give for donations. And I think we need to know how much we're talking about.
You know, someday I'm gonna find that damn policy on donations and shred it public.
Well, I think it's anytime we make a motion, if we're gonna do something to support, and we should, the dollar value of that, we should put that in the motion. I think what it is.
I find that motion to be constraining, and I find it so weird that the choices of individuals can override the body of council. I've never understood how that policy is ever stood by. But anyway, that's your question. Any other questions or comments on Councilor Temple's motion? Councilor Spencer? No, I'm pointing at you.
Yeah, but I think he's got the number in his head.
Number in the head that I have, it's no more than $300 an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give him $300 worth then.
That's what
What else?
We'll give them the date. Question? Councilor Spencer?
No, that answered it.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of Councilor Temple's motion to provide the necessary free ice time to the fire chief's hockey initiative, first responders on Friday. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, moving on to the minutes. Page 7. On page 8, we have the meeting minutes of the committee of the whole this meeting on the capital budget on December 2nd, 2025. Are there any questions or comments, errors or omissions in the minutes? Page 1.
I just wondered what it says Cal 4/25.
Those are the, motion numbers. The committee of the whole has to have a separate, number system.
Okay. Any other errors or omissions or questions? Page 2. Not hearing any, I entertain a motion to adopt the minutes of the committee of the whole of December 2nd. Councilor Forsky. All those in favor? Carried. Moving on then to the minutes of the regular meeting of council on December 9th. Are there any errors or omissions or comments? Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Mayor?
Was, on 9.1, was appendix A supposed to be part of the minutes?
Yes.
They're on there, okay.
Okay,
Make sure they're in.
okay, yeah.
Pardon? That's an omission. Okay, so the appendix 1 will be added to the minutes. Okay, moving on then, errors or omissions, comments, page 4. Page 5. Councilor Spencer?
And I might be wrong, but I thought we rescheduled the January 6th informal meeting Our informal committee of the whole to January 20th, but January 20th was the
Yeah,
January 20th informal.
I think we are going to, let me put it this way. I am hoping that at least a portion of the next committee of the whole meeting will be of a private discussion roundtable. The other questions or comments on page 5? Questions or comments, page 6? Hearing no further errors or omissions, entertain a motion to adopt. Councillor Temple. All those in favor? Carried. And now moving on to the minutes of the committee of the whole, December 16. Are there any errors or omissions? Page 1. Page 2. Hearing none, I adopt the motion. Entertain a motion to adopt the minutes. Councillor Hanlon. All those in favor? Carried. Moving on then to the new business on page 18. This is the Federation of Canadian Municipalities grant application. And the recommendation is that council supports the submission of a greenhouse gas reduction pathways feasibility study grant application to FCM and to proceed with the study if the grant is approved. Council willing to make that the motion?
I'll make a motion for it on the table.
Okay, moved by Councilor Minline. CEO, please introduce this actually more complicated topic than.
Yeah, it was a very short notice, for, approving, the study. We had a very tight deadline, so, the consultant that we're using really had a gun to our head if we wanted to proceed with such a feasibility study. We should start with we wouldn't go forward with this because it's so expensive unless we get a grant. So this was put forward to me and I signed it and then now I'm presenting it to you here. The funding request is 80% of the cost of $198,240, and we would pay about $49,000. Whatever the difference is between $247,800 and $198,240. I don't know, other than everything's laid out here in the attachment to it. But these are all the properties that would be considered for what kind of, climate change project, if you will. And recommendations will come out of that for council to further consider. We want to convert buildings over to a more climate-friendly application.
Okay, I'll go around the table on councilors. Any questions or comments on the merits of this proposal? Councilor Minline?
Just one, I guess. So should we get approved for the grant and we go ahead and do the study, what is the expectation for us to proceed then to retrofit those existing buildings that are going to be reviewed? We end up with 10 buildings that are saying we fixed the heating systems in, that they're fairly large buildings that can get to be a large and often save money in the long run too. It's case by case. I'm just saying, what's the expectation? Is that if they say that this clear study comes up with 10 buildings that we have to act in?
Well, no, all we're, we give recommendations, and it's not forcing us to do anything. But all our buildings are older.
Yeah.
So, and there will be possibility of grants for individual buildings. So, that's a consideration for council to make.
Yeah.
But, one of our strategic priorities is to be climate friendly, so, this is an approach we can take.
So at this time, we're only asking for the money for the grant, no,
That's right.
do we any further action?
That's right.
Councillor Hanlon,
No, I don't have.
Councillor Simpson,
Nothing for me.
Councillor Temple.
The CAO, would this study help us in determining what life we have left in that sports palace?
I'm gonna talk separately about that, in my CAO update, because the development today and yesterday about the arena. So I'll talk further on that one.
Okay, thank you.
But it's germane, your answer is germane to this motion, right? At least give us a yes or a no.
Well, yes, it would be, and the arena is listed there in the,
In various parts.
yeah, so it's definitely a consideration. We've had, well, yesterday I was advised, because of all the snow and ice melting, we had 10 leaks in the arena and 4 leaks in the theater, George Buchanan Center. When I went there, and I contacted, because of that, I was very concerned as the CEO when I was notified of such a thing, of the structural integrity of the roof. And so I called up NPE, our engineering consulting firm. He happened to be in Grand Prairie coming back to Edmonton, so he dropped in this afternoon. We went over there. There were probably 20 leaks in the arena, maybe 25 leaks in the arena. Maybe that's even conservative. There's a lot of leaking going on. There's the slippery walkways in the arena there. The ceilings in the second floor are approaching the jiu-jitsu gymnastics area. They're collapsing. And it's embarrassing. Like, it's ugly in there. And then yesterday, they had smoke filling the arena because the ice, when it was sliding off, knocked over the air vents. And so when they turned on the ventilation, everything started smoking. And so all the doors were open to let the smoke out.
Was that when that one pipe that was knocked down? You see that?
It's all part of that. So greatly concerned. So NPE is also going to assess how strong this roof is or when it should be replaced. But, our discussion as council is we need a new shell over the roof.
Does that answer your question germane to this topic?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're looking at having just one roof instead of 2 or 3 roofs. So,
Okay, Councillor Persky, any questions on this?
When they built the Gordon Buchanan Center, the first winter they had problems with it leaking. I don't know whether it was construction or design, but it was leaking inside first year. They still got that problem. So I don't know if putting a whole big large roof on 2 buildings going to help.
I mean, that's up to the engineering and architect. How much that.
Yeah.
Tell us what's that. And that's another stage. But right now, as the CAO and this council, and now that you've been advised, we have to do our due diligence. And we don't want the roof collapsing as you hear other arenas happen.
Let's stick to this topic, please.
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor, any questions on this topic?
Going back now, and I think within the last 10 years, there has been a review of our town buildings for replacement and improvements on them, so I don't know where we're at with that.
But, they had recommended that, in that report that, you know, furnaces were outdated, should be replaced to, you know, become more efficient as a municipality, so I don't know where they're.
And that's what this proposal is trying to address in that part.
Another, yeah, another.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? I've forgotten now, who made the motion?
I made that.
All those in favor of the motion?
What was the motion? The people?
Two, after one? The motion as worded on page 19. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Heated. So, make it clear, we will not be applying for a feasibility study grant, okay? Destruction of municipal election ballots, item 8.2, page 26. The council directed administration to destroy the ballots from the October 2025 municipal election as directed by the Alberta Municipal Affairs Information Bulletin for January 2026. Entertain a motion. Councilor Minderline, any questions or comments on this? Routine,
It's the standard every 4 years of the
requirement. All those in favor? Carried. Moving on to the travel allowance policy on page 30. The recommended option is that council approves the travel allowance policy finance -01-2026. Entertain a motion to adopt the policy. Moved by the deputy mayor. Questions or comments? Okay. What's up on the round table, starting off with Councilor Hammond.
Well, one question that I did have is what the provincial rates were in comparison to these federal rates.
The provincial, for mileage, kilometers, 57 cents.
Pardon?
57 cents kilometer, whereas what I've got here is 56.5 cents. Because I'm using the CRA of the guide. And the meal, as we just looked it up just before this council meeting for the province, is lower than what the CRA has. I don't have it here right now, but I know it's lower. But I matched the meal allowance to what CRA that the county pegs their travel allowance and meals to the CRA website that gets updated every year.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Councilor Parisky? Councilor Temple? No, I'm fine. Thank you, sir. Councilor Trenter?
On that with the.
Councilor Mingon?
Yeah, just the one there with the gratuity, where it's what, 15 to 40%, is that a CRA one, or is that?
No, I put that in there up to 20%. You don't have to. I'm just saying if there's sometimes you want to do that, you can go up to 20%. It depends on.
Yeah, no, it's fine, it's just I wanted to know if that was a CRA thing, or if that's one that we put in there ourselves.
I put it. Because I know.
Actually, I had a question on the gratuity. The provincial rates don't allow any coverage of gratuity. This is the first I've heard of covering gratuities.
I'd have to look at that. I haven't seen anything like that.
Their wisdom in covering gratuities?
Yes, we've always covered gratuity.
Doesn't mean to say it's wise. I asked if there's any wisdom in it.
Then you're expecting the employees when they're traveling to cover those gratuities. When it's a normal part of paying for your meal. It's up to council if they want to say,
Councilor Blumenauer?
But you say this, it's not in the CRA, they don't have anything in the CRA for gratuity?
yeah, I think it's 15%.
Oh, okay. I know, I used to work with federal government doing claims and that, gratuities or whatever, but that was always, what we got was we gave a daily allowance. And that was to be used for personal expenses, such as dry cleaning or gratuities.
Any other questions? Okay. You satisfied with the answers? All those in favor of the motion of approving travel allowance policy? Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Moving along quite nicely. We don't need a break. Page 40. We're gonna find out what the CEO is happening.
And I didn't have,
His valuable Christmas on.
I was just getting organized this past week and clearing up a lot of email. So nothing to report too much. The Economic Development Committee workshop attended the morning and the evening session. Other than that, it's just I spent the last week catching up and after another getting off for vacation for 11 days.
Everybody satisfied with the way he spends his lives?
Here in High Prairie, spending money here in the town.
That's even better. Motion to receive for information. Deputy Mayor, all those in favor? Carried. Moving on now, the council's correspondence starting on page 42. First one being the request for capital project funding from the county. CEO, please introduce this topic.
Yes, again, this is part of, being collaborative with the county. Every year they give us anywhere between 900,000 and $1 million in capital funding. And then we got this request from them. So the full project, 207,000. What they're looking for here is for the town to contribute 125,000 for this weather observation system.
I believe we have a counselor on the airport to hear some comment from you on this. Counselor Temple.
Well, at their meeting, it was brought forward that this system has the, I could say, outgrown itself. It's too old. And this system is required for pilots to check the weather in High Prairie before they come to land here. So it's good for, and considering that we have a medevac daily out of High Prairie, I think this system is very important for us to have. And it was brought forward to us that for us to fund half of this project.
The other,
So we have members on the committee, so we must have an agreement with them to have a cost sharing with that for the operation or the capital charge. So that agreement says that we pay 50%.
We contribute,
Up to, or is it 50%? Okay, so that's covered by agreement.
Deputy Mayor?
I sit on that committee with Councilor Temple, and this was already budgeted for in capital.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Okay.
Councilor Temple, please, word the appropriate motion to support this request.
Make a motion to support the request for the cost sharing with the county of $125,000 from the town of High Prairie.
Further questions or comments on the motion?
you have a question?
I just want to make a friendly amendment to that, if we could just add as approved in the interim capital budget to that, just so that it does refer back to that, in case there's any questions for
I
them.
think the capital budget, it's not an interim one.
That's the final one, okay, no, that's right. So if we can add that in as per the capital budget.
And
For maybe if people know that
I'm sure the CEO and the clerk will,
Yeah,
straight the right punctuation.
Yeah, right.
Councilor Hanlon?
I was just gonna ask, is this for sure in the capital budget? Because I don't remember talking about the weather observation
No, I
system.
don't think it is. I was looking at the capital budget this afternoon. We've added
This is
in,
additional.
it's additional, and, we take it from the,
No, it isn't. I don't remember it in there, so I might find it, but I'm pretty sure the county is asking us to.
well, this came to us December 4th.
But I do remember Councilor Temple talking about the need for this and the restrictions on pilot.
Yeah, right at the bottom.
Right at the bottom, is it, sir?
Yeah,
Final draft.
yeah, we voted on it. I got a check mark beside it.
Okay, but is it in the approved one that we?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I got a check mark.
Then we don't need a motion.
We don't need a motion.
Okay, so all we have to do is respond positively to the person. Moving on then to sponsorship opportunity, ice fees for the under 18 provincials. CEO,
Again, this is part of, sponsoring is encouraging, these tournaments and ice fees, that's, good community relations. And we want to support, these hockey teams, these championships. So it brings money into the community too.
I have a little bit of difficulty with this. Is it just ice fees you're asking for?
To help offset, the ice rental and arena operating costs. So we're not looking to cover 100% of the ice rental or operating costs, just a portion of it.
Any questions or comments? Does anybody have it in? Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
If we do approve this, where would the money come from?
Unrestricted surplus. It could come from, the council, grants or donations. Yeah. That's where it comes from.
Relying on someone's memory, what did we used to do when we had, for instance, the 3A tournament? At what level was that tournament supported until the previous council said no more? Anybody remember? It was at 100% of ice fees, 50%, 25%?
It was a discounted ice rink.
You remember the discount?
No, I do not.
Can you estimate what it might have been?
I can get a discount already, so.
What does minor hockey get?
Oh,
By one of the treaties that I worked at, I'm sure that they got ice for $85 an hour in a treaty. But that's years ago. Right? I know it was probably half.
Or are we suggesting to, if we were to support the under 18, that we support it equivalent to how we support our own minor hockey?
I can
Get
get
the same discount rate?
I can get this information for you tomorrow.
we need this motion. Response back to the.
Well, first, I'd like to first find out what the sentiment is. The council wants to support it, then we can, plug in the number later on, but if people don't want to support it, I just want to make a comment on this. I happen to think that previous council made a serious error in not supporting the Treaty 8. I regard all tournaments, whether it's pickleball or hockey, or chess or floor hockey or whatever it is,
as an important economic development tactic because it brings more people into town. It increases foot traffic. They spend money. I personally am in favor of supporting this, but I do want to stick within some traditional boundaries. Councilor Moran?
No, and keeping in mind that we do still have that policy in effect, we haven't rescinded that policy, correct, on donations, public, whatever. Policy.
No, that's the one I want to cherry up, but I
But
haven't.
I just wanted to make that point. But anyway, the funding they requested is $3,767.50, and that's on the page 46, halfway down the page, they have the amount that's in there. I'm not sure, I don't see a budget from them on their event, so how they figure that, they're getting other money from somebody else or whatever.
Well, my problem with that number is, does that represent, what would we be getting if we charged full rate ice time for that event, what would we be getting? Councilor Chunder?
This was the one that was distributed at the last regular meeting of council. The hockey tournament rates are $181 for the first 16 hours. And then I'm understanding this as for additional hours after the first 16, it's $108 an hour for adults and $77 for youth.
Are you willing to put that into a motion?
So I word that. Well,
Whatever we do with this.
do we want to discount it, we want to cut it in half, or do we?
No, I don't know. Are those reasonable rates? What's the full-time rate? Did you say $300?
I think that's what fire chief for them.
It's, no, that's for the per hour ice rental. We're looking down here at the tournament rates. The tournament rates are discounted.
Already discovered.
Yeah, the regular arena rental rate is $181. You pay $77 an hour after the first 16 hours. Oh, actually, that's right. Yeah.
Councilor Mingon?
I can make a motion if everybody's in agreement with it, that we support the event by 50% of the posted rental rates right now. We support up to 50% off. We heard of rate.
That sort of jive with the numbers of the Councilor Chunder?
Let me do some math. It's 28.90. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so a motion to support
For about 20 hours.
the under 18 provincials by discounting the regular ice fees by 50%.
The tournament rate,
The tournament rates,
the
but
tournament rate's by an additional.
Okay, tournament rates by 50%. That,
That's what I was,
that it?
yeah.
Who's making that motion?
I made that motion.
You make it? Fine. Any further questions or comments? I'm so glad to hear positive on this stuff because that Treaty 8 decision just annoyed me so much. All those in favor? Carry. Now, make a wish. Very local thing. Somebody please introduce this one, CEO.
Yes, well, they're looking for sponsorship, to defray their costs. So it's a matter of council to, decide if they want to give $1,000, 500, 1,500, 2,000 for this, charitable event.
Any questions or comments on the Make-A-Wish request?
I have a quick question. So is this money that they funds they raise goes to Make-A-Wish, is that spent in our community or is that going to Edmonton to a pot somewhere and they decide where that money goes? For supporting outside? And how much do we get?
Good question. Who just got the answer?
Let me see that.
It was my impression that this is very local.
Events being local,
The event is local.
money would go to Make-A-Wish.
And,
So is the Make-A-Wish
here we go. Here
donations?
we go with,
Corporate.
yeah, but they want to know if it's spent locally.
Depends on who makes the wish. It's been used numerous times in High Prairie.
Yeah.
Mr. Hunt, Lee Hunt's daughter, This one, right, there's been a number of kids from our area that have made, you have this make-a-wish.
Okay. Would you like to make a motion with a number in it? Counselor Temple? What?
They're reading.
Oh. That's what the weekend is for. One shovel snow.
I didn't get it, no.
I know the lady. It actually has to be a dollar one, really.
I think we're gonna left the number open.
Yeah. Do they suggest a range of contributions?
No, they haven't.
Talk about donations for raffles. Yeah, nothing there. I can make a motion and then we'll just see what.
I was just wondering, this is for an event that's a month from, virtually a month from today.
Yeah.
Actually, a month from tomorrow. Can we delay this by a week? Somebody, if somebody can ask Rod, just what is it you want from us? Is that fair to say?
We bring that back. That's fair, right?
So I would entertain a motion to defer this topic to the regular meeting 2 weeks from today.
Direct administration to get additional information.
Pardon?
And direct administration to get additional.
Yeah, I expect that.
Yeah.
All those in favor of deferring? Carried. That's it for the correspondence. Moving on to the council reports. In a motion to adopt the council reports as attached. Councilor Temple. I want to apologize, I haven't done mine, I haven't even started. But I hope to have it done in the next week. I've been so sick for 2 weeks that I haven't had the ambition to do anything. All those in favor of adopting council reports? Carried. Going on then to item 16.8, council payroll. There you see attached the various payroll attendance sheets from councilors. And that one I did manage to do. So when you find out where my priorities truly are. Any questions or comments on any of them? You entertain a motion to adopt the payroll. Deputy Mayor. All those in favor? Carried. Are there any confidential items? None?
None. We need to set a date for the operating budget. But, I'm away the 19th and 20th in Brantford.
We have a meeting of the whole coming up a week from today. And I would still like to have a very casual, unrecorded, unformatted, sort of unadjudicated conversation.
The manager of finance can handle that.
Pardon?
I don't need to be there then, the manager of finance can handle it.
Yeah, no, this is just a topic I want to hear from the councilors in private, just in a very casual conversational setting, around the table in the back here, and come to the meeting and say, it's one, here's 3 things I'd like this council to achieve over the next 3 years, kind of thing. What is it that motivated you to put your name up for a job that was much, you just found out, was much bigger than you expected it to be? As much fun as it is, I mean, I'm enjoying it immensely, but I didn't think it was quite as big. Okay?
but I am learning a great deal. I just wanted you to come and think about it. You know, I've thought about items and that, you know, and I'm not trying to set a new priority plan or anything. I just think we need to know why we're here from our own internal motivation. Okay, and some of that, yes, I dare say will go into various priority plans. In fact, I hope the major ones will, but that's all I'm planning for. I don't have anything planned for the committee of the whole of next week. As far as I'm concerned, that's the CEO who says, we don't even need a package. We don't need a package. Guess what? We don't even need you. Huh? So you can evening off.
You don't even want the manager of finance?
No,
We need to have somebody. No, we're not allowed to meet without a CAO or
Pardon?
Said he won't be here for you.
I won't be here, but the manager
Oh,
of finance.
here's some. We're not meeting formally.
Yeah.
We're making no
No,
decisions.
but the thing is, the MGA reads, it doesn't say it has to be a formal meeting, the council will not meet without the address of the CAO, let's discuss the CAO.
Then we'll have, right, and we'll point out to Sean that you were the one that wanted to hear.
The MGA was. That's right.
No, we're gonna personalize. Any other questions or comments? Having completed the agenda, I declare the meeting adjourned.
That was 20th, right? Or
20th?
Or Monday, was it Monday or Tuesday?
What?
Your
Coming meeting
committee of the whole?
every Tuesday.
All right.
We have a meeting.
Yeah.
We make good time.
My understanding on the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Misty Cadet told me, said.
Sorry, I didn't hear the first part of
Every
that.
patient who goes to get treatment is entitled to make a wish, and it is done. So we have no people from my area, we get no Make-A-Wish, but every patient who goes is entitled to apply. And we have very high criteria.
Yeah, we've had a number
Now,
of,
Misty can really explain it well to you. Misty can have himself in,
but we have a lot.
They should have a presentation.
Yeah.
Even people
I
from
know.
First Nations.
I've got a pretty firm opinion that you shouldn't, we're not in the business of spending taxpayer dollars on charity unless it's a charity that benefits the community. I'm iffy on whether Make-A-Wish. It's obvious that